The following is a presentation of Team Bonding, providing more than 100 live, virtual, or hybrid corporate team building activities for companies around the world. Visit teambonding.com to schedule your event now.
Good afternoon, team. Once again, it's me, Rich Rittensland, your host to Team Building Around the World, the podcast where I speak to people from the team bonding, team building industry from all over the globe. I am very excited today to have with me as my special guest, Mr. David Goldstein. He is the owner and operator of Headfirst Events and Team Bonding out of Stoughton, Massachusetts, right here in New England. And he's the man I lovingly refer to as my boss, because he's what actually got me into this industry today. But before we begin, I do want to give some love to my supporters out there. This show is supported by the Catalyst Team Building Network. Find out more about the world's largest network of team building providers at catalystglobal.com. And we also want to thank our friends at B1G1, which can make your business a real force for good. Visit b1g1.com to get started. And now, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please, can you welcome with all your love one of my dear friends and a great, great man, and the man who gives me a paycheck, which I always love and adore him for, Mr. David Goldstein. And those are the lovely people hiding under my table there, David.
Oh, very lucky indeed.
How are you today, boss?
I am good. I feel the need to apologize if you're crediting me to getting you into the industry.
Well, actually, it's really very funny. It's something I do want to get into a little bit later. But first, before we get into that, because you and I have known each other for so long, let's make sure that everybody else knows you. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself for all the team out there?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm David Goldstein. I am the founder of Team Bonding, and I've been doing team building and various interactive entertainment and such for about almost 25 years.
Since it was 98? That you first started? No, 88, excuse me.
Well, it was 88 when we first started Mystery Cafe, which was the original murder mystery dinner theater. And then that, about 10 years later, that turned into Team Bonding, where we kind of went from corporate entertainment to corporate team building, and what seemed to be the better direction.
Okay, explain to everybody who may not know, what's the difference between the two, corporate entertainment and corporate team building?
At the time, the difference was with corporate entertainment, there was an option. We should do corporate entertainment. It's a pocket that they go. I could take money out of that if I want to. Mm-hmm. Corporate team building was we need this. We really were in it almost before it started. Where nowadays people talk about company culture, employee engagement, employee retention, all the things that are important to companies now.
Sure,
weren't always important to companies in the past. But when they started to look more into it and realize what it took to keep employees happy, to keep them working together, to build their business, they realized that they needed to keep the people that were working with them happier and more engaged and get to know each other better, whether or not they grew or whether they shrank. It was important to understand that the employees were their assets. They need attention, they need water, they need food, they need to be worked on. And I think that's where team building, came into play, and that's where it became from something I want to do to a have to do.
Oh, great. Well, what made you decide that was the step to take? I mean, where did team building come in for David Goldstein?
Okay, so I'll go back to the original story. So my daughter, who Sam, she was very young. She was probably 7 or under.
Right.
And I was working at home, and I was doing the dinner theaters, and there were about 37 other dinner theaters at the time. There were basically anyone that had a function room.
Okay.
Would put up a dinner theater. And I finally decided, I thought, because I was doing dinner theater, I could be the best and the biggest at it. And I was starting to lose money to the point where one year we did 500 people at Marriott Longworth Hotel. And the bills came through, and we couldn't pay the bills. We couldn't pay the hotel. We couldn't pay the entertainment. We couldn't pay anything. So I decided that I was going to get a job. And Sam at the time said, "Well, Dad, what kind of job are you going to get?" I said, "I'm going to get a job where I can go to work and I can, leave what I do and pay attention to work and come home and spend time with my family." And she said, "Well, don't get a job like Aaron's dad." I said, "Well, what kind of job does Aaron's dad have?" And she said, "Well, Aaron's dad gets up in the morning before Aaron goes to school and comes home at night after Aaron goes to sleep. I don't want you to have a job like Aaron's dad." So I thought about it and realized that no, I didn't want a job like that either. I wanted a job where I could be proud of what I did, that I had control of my time, and I was able to see the events that the family had. And instead of giving it up and getting a job, I started to look into see what else was out there that was a little bit more secure. So instead of, at the time we were doing the murder mysteries, and we instead of doing the big giant murder mysteries, we started to do the smaller customized murder mysteries. Okay. I looked into the other things that I did, and we started to do limousine scavenger hunts and spy games and things that people could, use the power of play to get to know each other better and to work together better. So we developed team bonding at that point as a way to almost dip into a different pocket, into HR and into event planning, and start to do things that were more meaningful than just the entertainment stuff.
Right.
And that was the right direction.
Good. Now, you say the power of play, and I got to tell you, the first job I ever did for team bonding was in about 2009, I think it was. And Paul Giroux, who was also a guest on this show, was introducing himself and us, and he said, "Welcome to team. We're from Team Bonding, where we're going to teach you about teamwork through the power of play." And I remember turning to another one of my assistants and just going, "What did he just say? What is that?" So can you explain what the power of play means to you, since you seem to be the one who coined the term for us?
Well, when we first started the website, it was we used the Plato quote. You can learn more about a person in an hour of play than a lifetime of conversation. And that's really where it started, because if we could get people, that were sitting next to each other at work to do something, they didn't have to fear. There was no real risk to it. Their job wasn't at risk, but they could do something together where they could learn something, to sculpt ice or to cook or to do something that they may not have learned before. And they can trust other people. Then they had an experience that they can go back to work and they can bond on the next time they were together. Oh, remember the last time I was with Rich, Rich and I, made a meal for the team, or we sculpted an amazing rose out of ice or a beer glass. We've done, the experiences we've had together bring us together and allow us to trust each other when it really counts, when our company needs it, when there's something on the line. But the power of play has always been, kind of what we've gone for. It's more, affording, new experiences and giving people new information, and creating things that would allow people to work and play together.
Nice. Very, very nice. So you've been in this business for going on 25 years now. Can you explain to me what's the difference that you've seen in the team building corporation, the team building ideal from those early days to now?
There's been trends along the way. So initially, the scavenger hunt was one of the first things we did. And we called, scavenger hunt was, we called it team building by accident, because people would have to, they'd have to work together and trust each other. And, it was almost built into the way the program was designed. You'd get a scavenger list of 100 items. You've got a certain time frame. You've got a certain number of photographs at the time you had to get their Polaroid cameras. And they had to, figure out how to work together. And, and I'd watch teams at the time. I'd watch some teams that would, we did it with limousines in the beginning. Our first big scavenger hunt had 40 different limousines. So 240 people, and some people would just get in their limousine and they would just go out. And others, you'd knock on their limousine door a half hour later and say, "Are you guys okay?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just planning everything out." So it really allowed different people to take different skills. And the scavenger hunts changed to, it's interesting, they've gone from Polaroid cameras to GPS devices to digital cameras to iPods, and now it's back to Polaroid cameras again because it's nostalgia. But, now the same type of thing is happening with escape rooms and cooking. And so different things. We've been involved in many different trends in team building where different activities allow you to do different things. An escape room is an amazing type of team building event, as you lead these things, and to get people to, some people will be the person that will answer the trivia questions or the numerical questions. Other people will turn stuff upside down and inside out.
Right.
But it really allows, a group of people to use all their skills. And I think one of the things I like most of what I do is creating events that allow people to come together and have an experience that they really benefit from.
That is great. Yeah, because you actually call yourself the C.O.O. for team bonding. You're the creator of opportunities that we have there, correct?
Yes, it's one of the things I call myself. The other is I'm an ADD entrepreneur. So having ADD has been a skill set for me. It's allowed me to look at things and read things and research things and try to find out what's next.
Okay.
And I've always been really, really good at seeing kind of the different trends in the industry. So we've gone from the scavenger hunts to the cooking, to the escape games, to the technology, to now the virtual. That's really what's next. And the virtual isn't going to, it's not going to end when this is over.
Right.
It's actually going to be part of our future.
Sure.
So part of, my job has always been to see the opportunities and then create the opportunities for myself and others.
Which do you think is, I wouldn't say better, but maybe perhaps easier to run? Is it easier to run a virtual, or is it easier to run it in person?
I think there's a learning curve to both. I mean, after doing, in-person events for 20-something years, we could almost predict what would happen. Mm-hmm. When in this scenario, because of the global partnership, we saw and heard what was happening in, from east to west, where things were getting canceled and people were starting to pivot to virtual events. So we really had to not only learn what was going on and see what was going on, but we had to almost predict the future and be there when the clients were ready for what they were going to do, when they realized that they weren't going back to the office anytime soon, when they realized that Zoom is their new best friend, and when they realized that everything free is not worthwhile. Trivia games and cocktail parties, you can only do so many of them.
Right.
So we're trying to stay ahead of the game and put real content, real activity, real engagement, real fun into what people do. And I think by staying ahead of the game, in a lot of senses, it's exciting. It's exciting to come up with something new. I mean, my conversation in an hour is going to be, when this probably plays, we'll have launched a virtual campfire. So in my mind, a virtual campfire is going to be in the middle of your Zoom is a big bonfire, and there'll be a musician. We'll send them some more kits. There'll be ghost stories. There'll be cocktails, and this will be an event that should carry us through the summer.
That's excellent. I look forward to that. All right, give me 1 second here, David. I got to pay a few bills for us here, so stand by for me. Ladies and gentlemen, let me take a break for a moment to tell you about the Catalyst Team Building Network, an association of team building providers. With representatives in over 90 countries speaking more than 20 different languages, the Catalyst Network is widely regarded as the voice of the team building industry. Network members share resources, best practices, and business opportunities. Catalyst partners are learning from each other and pushing the boundaries of what is possible in team building. Catalyst Network members share a common goal of creating highly relevant, socially responsible, good valued experiences for their clients. For more information, please visit catalystglobal.com. The Catalyst Team Building Network, the world's largest network of team building providers. And we are back with one of the members of the Catalyst Global Network, the C.O.O. of TeamBonding here in Stoughton, Massachusetts, David Goldstein. All right, David. So let's talk about some of the events that you have going on. Can you give us a favorite of yours that you're doing right now?
That we're doing right now. I can give you my favorites overall, but the favorites, I guess, that we're doing right now, it's trying to keep up with what we're doing and what we're going to be doing. I think my favorite is TeamProv. So I've always been a big fan of improv. I even, I owned an improv troupe for a while, if you can actually own an improv troupe, but as far as comedy sports. But watching people laugh and engage, it's almost better than it is live because people's inhibitions are down a little bit as compared to if I was standing next to you or standing around a group of people, what people think of me. I know I'm being watched and I know everything I'm going to be doing is involved in what other people are doing. But I was talking to one of the event managers, Jane, earlier today, and she said she was in a Zoom room with one of the participants, and there was two people. There was a guy from Scotland, and there was a guy from the U.S., an African American, and they were playing a game and having an honest conversation about what's going on in today's world. And they, at the end of it, they were in tears, and they were so happy that they could be together and have this conversation that they may not have had in person. And I think something like TeamProv and something like these type of activities allow conversations to be had that may not happen in person. So I think that's my favorite now. I reserve the right to change.
Of course.
My favorites. But I think that has transitioned to one of the best things that we do.
So that's a fantastic memory to share, by the way. Thank you for that. I love hearing those little stories, especially over the years, however many that I've had to, the honor of being present for myself. But let's talk about what's your favorite memory of an event?
All right, as compared to worst memories. All right, we'll go with favorite.
Well, we can do both. We have the time.
All right. Well, I'm always the one with the new ideas. So, I will come up with an idea and people will say, oh my God, either that's a great idea or that's a horrible idea or no one's ever going to do it. So when I thought about ice sculpting for an idea, everyone was like, are you kidding me? Chainsaws? I'm like, not chainsaws. Really. They won't, we don't have the liability for chainsaws. But the idea that people can start with a 50-pound block of ice, work together with hand tools and gloves in a safe manner and create something that is meaningful and artistic and customized. I mean, I think after the Bruins won the Stanley Cup, we did something for the owner of the Bruins, Jeremy Jacobs, and on center ice at Boston Garden, and they created a hockey puck that had the Bruins logo on it. And just the creativity that comes out of some of these things amazes me.
Fantastic.
On the other side, there was a murder mystery that we did in Arlington, in Sharon, Massachusetts, where I live. That was almost across the street from my house. Mm-hmm. And one of the actors didn't show up. So I actually had to be in that murder mystery. Have you heard this story?
No, this one's new on me.
All right, this is a new one. So basically, this was in the company of killers. And they said, okay, David, all you really need to come in and do is you come in with a gun, you say something, and you get shot and you die. I can do that. I had been doing murder mysteries for 20 years and I'd never been in a show. So there we were in the back of Alice's Mandarin Taste restaurant. I came in, did my thing. I got shot and I crumbled to the floor.
Okay.
What nobody tells you is there's a certain way to fall when you die.
Yeah. That
doesn't involve your head smashing into the cement floor.
Right.
That wasn't shared with me. So yes, my one and only murder mystery appearance. I said, I looked like I was dead because I almost was.
Oh, jeez. So this is why we can't get you to come and do more shows now. Is that what you're telling me? Oh, okay.
One of the reasons.
What if I teach you how to fall? Would that be better?
You might have a better chance.
Okay. But, although that could be a good future event. I could actually, because I've done stunt work, I can actually teach stunt work on the corporate side. Wouldn't it feel better? Do you think people feel better learning how to do it?
Is stunt work, Rich? It's
I could teach.
It's doing it without a net.
Yep, exactly. All right, let's switch gears just a little bit here. Let's talk about charities. Now, we do a lot of work with charities. Can you give us an example of some of those that you've worked with over the years?
Yeah, I love the charitable programs. It really is. It's truly the most meaningful thing that I think that I've been a part of. And I remember one of the first things that we did a teddy bear donation where we built teddy bears and we donated teddy bears. And we had, there were children with Down syndrome. Mm. And we gave the teddy bears to them. And the facilitator came back and he told me, he said, David, he said, you wouldn't believe it. Everyone in the room, myself included, was in tears. The charity, the clients, myself, everybody was in tears. I said, if you really think about it, I mean, you have the only job where you get paid to be successful, and you're successful when everyone cried.
Yeah.
But the things that we've given back, the bicycles, the cancer care kits, the program that was developed because my brother and one of the facilitators were fighting cancer. Mm. The idea that we're able to create something to give back to people that are going through these battles. Really, it's truly amazing it's more than team building.
I know it's
become a real part of our lives.
I know it's sort of along the lines of trying to name your favorite event. Do you have a favorite charity that you worked with over the years? Again,
I always think of the ones that weren't as ideal as compared to the ones that were. I mean,
hit me.
We work with the Red Cross, and we also work with the Boys and Girls Club, and in particular, We've worked a lot with the Dallas Boys and Girls Club, and they did a video for us a while back when we donated the bicycles. They sent us a video of the children receiving the bicycles.
Oh, amazing.
And, they were on their bicycles that our team built, and they were thanking us for providing them with bicycles. And it was amazing.
Because I have to tell you, again, going all the way back to the beginning of my career with you, I started my first event was a team building bike race, the bike build. And we had the Boys and Girls Club there to collect the bikes. And the look on the guest faces, the clients' faces, when these kids get to run in and jump on the bikes and start pedaling them around the room, it lifts everybody in that room up.
That's amazing. And I'll give you the other side of the story, which
Please.
Ideally I'll spin it in the right way. So my brother, Michael, has been an entertainer who entertains kids with cancer. He does, the Paul Newman camp, and he's done charity work and hospital work and whatnot. So when we did one of our first bike builds in Atlanta, I asked him for a charity. And he said, I've got this great charity. It's a cancer program that we work with, and they'd love to receive the bikes. And we told the client, and they said, oh, no, we don't want kids with cancer. We want kids who are poor.
Huh.
And we had to go back to the client and say, this is the charity.
Yeah.
The kids that have cancer have siblings. The siblings will be the ones that receive the bicycles. And we can either do this program for this charity, or we won't do this program for you.
Wow.
This is not, we're not creating a circus. We're not creating an event for him. This is real, legitimate, honest,
right.
Giving back to someone that has never had a bicycle.
Right.
And we ended up doing that event, and they were so grateful. And it felt really good to say, you know what, this isn't a show for you guys. This is you're giving back to a real kids, and those real kids go through, with a sibling that's going and a family that's going through cancer. They need it just as much, if not more, than someone that's just poor.
Sure. Oh my goodness. All right, well, with that in mind, actually, I want to throw one more time. We've got one more supporter here to talk about. So hold on one second for me, David. And let me take a minute to tell everybody about B1G1, which can make your business a real force for good. When you're part of B1G1, you bring new purpose, meaning, and relevance to your business by making giving a core of what you do. Unlike conventional giving models, B1G1 helps small and medium-sized businesses achieve more social impact by embedding giving activities in their everyday business operations to create unique giving stories. Every business transaction can impact lives from as little as just 1 cent. So please visit b1g1.com to get started. That's B1G1, business for good. And now you've done work with B1G1 as well, don't you, David?
Yeah, it's part of the Catalyst Network. Everything that we pay the Catalyst Network actually goes into a donation for them.
Fantastic.
So it's a nice thing. And we've also built programs where, and you'll do a scavenger, for instance, and you will solve a challenge, and by solving that challenge, kids in Indonesia learn to read.
Wow.
Or a tree gets planted somewhere else. I mean, they have such global reach that you can do. I think it's amazing to be able to tie into something like them to have reached much beyond that I can reach here in Stoughton.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the clients out there. Let us say that I was a business owner, no matter which size. When should I start thinking it's time to get team bonding involved with my company? What should I be looking for?
It's not a one size fits all. So it's, we used to be, when team bonding started, we had a website and we're like, hey, we're a team building company. Hey, we do this, we do Olympics, we do, we do all this great fun stuff. And then we realized no one really cares. There's no raving fans for team building companies. But you as a business owner, you will have a need. You'll have a conflict at work. You'll have a kickoff at the beginning of the year. You'll have an intern program. You'll have a holiday party. You'll have something that you want to do to give back to the community. So we're much more findable now in meeting those needs. So if you have a need, that's when you go, oh, geez, I have a need. I wonder if team bonding can do something for us. What do they do for interns? What do they do for summer outings? What do they do for holiday parties? To have a charitable holiday party, instead of just lavishing yourself in drinks and gifts and food, to be able to build bikes or donate wagons of toys to children. That's so much more meaningful. That's when companies should look out to us, when they want to do more with the resources that they have.
That's fantastic. Now, let's look at it from the other point of view. Let's say that I'm a fresh-faced new person looking to get themselves into an industry. Why would you recommend team building for me?
To be part of the industry as a facilitator, or to be in this industry?
Or at any point. Anywhere, because you have a fantastic team surrounding you. I mean, I've met everybody in the office, and everyone is dedicated not only to you, but dedicated to the business itself. So how would let's ask two questions then. What do you look for when you want to hire a new person?
It's interesting. When we first started, as you know, we were a theater company.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about a theater company is people have passion.
Sure.
They are in theater because they love to perform, or they love to entertain, or they love to see people laugh, or they love to, to do that. So I think what I look for now, and I think what we've got now, is people who are passionate. People who believe in loving what they do. This isn't a job. You can't do one of these things and go, okay, well, I just worked at Walmart, for 7 hours. If you go to an event and you deliver an escape room and you see the way the people look at you when you walk into the room with skepticism and go, oh God, roll your eyes, we have to do another team building event.
Right.
And the way they laugh and cheer and applaud and hug, hopefully they'll hug again. You've made a difference. And people, I want people that make a difference and that want to make a difference in what they do. There's no 2 days ever the same here. And that's a good thing.
Great. Okay. So what is it about, now the second part of that question, of course, being, what is it about me that I should look for if I'm thinking of team building? I mean, I'm not myself, because I really do enjoy my work, especially the work that I do with team bonding. I mean, the different variety of things that we offer and be able to put it out there into the world. You've got me flying all over the country, for God's sakes, and it's an amazing opportunity for me. But if I were just someone, say, coming out of college, and I was looking through ads, or I was looking on websites, and I see a team building company is looking to hire, what should I be feeling that connects me to that company?
I think what you'd be feeling, or what we'd want you to be feeling, is a connection. That I think we've stayed although we're large in the team building industry, we're a small company.
Mm-hmm.
We're as an intern, or as a facilitator, or as an event manager, you really can get involved in things. You can really make a difference. We're doing things that make a difference, whether it be giving back, or whether it be launching something new, or developing a new program. I mean, one of the things we did 2 years ago is we were the first ones to bring the Haka as a team building event to clients in the U.S.
Explain what that is, because I'm sure many of my listeners don't know.
So the Haka is if you're familiar with the All Blacks, the rugby team, it's based in New Zealand, and it's based. There's a chant that they do that is motivation, and also just a self-identity thing. It's deep in their culture, and they come out before every game, and they do a Haka before every match. So we work with a facilitator who is an original member of the tribe, and is able to take that and make it a motivational thing for kickoffs, for workshops, for they've taken something that is so ancient and passionate and powerful in history, and turn it into something that can be used for business purposes, for motivation, for team building, for engagement. It's we'll be part of that forever, as far as the first ones that brought this to this country. So not every little company can do big things, and I think being part of this industry, you can play above your weight.
Great.
That makes sense.
That is a nice way to put it. I really enjoy, because I mean, how many different opportunities can be reached out through in this company? I mean, just in my work that I've done with you, you have used me as a writer, as a director, as a creator of content. I mean, how many different types of possibilities are there out there for somebody coming into the company? I
mean, there's two sides. There's many sides, but there's the marketing side, which basically has to get the word out so people can find us.
Right.
There's the event management side, which is the people that put I always thought we'd make a great reality show. What clients see when you get there with the assistants and the stuff, they have no idea, that it's been through, UPS or been through packing and shipping and delivering and design. And, we've had to manage the event. We've had to manage the expectations. We've had to hire the facilitators and the assistants. There's so many things that go into putting an event together that people don't see. It's almost like Wizard of Oz. Don't look behind the curtain. All you really see is what's up front. But behind the curtain, so much has gone through to get us to that point. So to see that, to be part of that, I think I think it's exciting. It excites me every day.
Good. Yeah, I've often said to people when discussing what it is that I do for a living that under the name team bonding should be the catchphrase. Yeah, we can do that.
Well, years ago, I used to run a company called Learning Adventure. Learning Adventure was a little bit like Boston Center for Adult Education.
Okay.
It was a catalog of about 100 different events. And this dates myself, but this is before we really had the computer.
Okay.
We had the computer, but it was green, and it started with a dash, and the phone would ring, and people would I'd pick up the phone and go, Learning Adventure, and they say, can you do this? And I go, let me check the computer. I'd put the phone right to my chest. I'd count to 10 and go, yep, we can do that. And as soon as we hung up the phone, we'd go, how the hell are we going to do that? And then we'd make it happen. And there's a bit of magic to it.
Yep. And it's always exciting when you have to do that on the day. In point of fact, you were just telling all of us in the company, tell everybody what you just created today.
Well, there are lots of things that virtual events are showing indications of good and bad. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I was talking about previous to this is because we are not traveling people, we can actually do any of our events in any language at any time. Mm-hmm. If we have a client that wants to do something in Japanese, we can bring our Japanese partner in to do that. So I was told this morning that we booked our second event this week, the same day. Previous to this, we had a record. It was my record. It was we did a Play the Blues program where it was for the congressional record in D.C. They hired us the night before. We flew with our harmonicas and everything, and we were at that client the next morning, and we did the Play the Blues. Twice in this last week, we've done events in less time. So it's almost like we're solving a team building emergency. So in my way, I own, good 300 domains. When I have a good idea, I decide, we need to buy a domain that fits that idea, and eventually something might happen with it. And we now own teambuilding911.com, for team building emergencies.
Very good. All right, my friend. You've been doing great, by the way. I know you expressed a little reluctance. You're kind of new to this whole podcasting thing, but I want to say you're doing a great job. Except now, I'm going to put you on the hot seat because it is time for our lightning round. All right. Now, the way this works, just so you are aware and everybody listening out there, I'm going to put 60 seconds on the clock, and I'm going to ask you a bunch of really simple questions. Your job is going to be to answer them as fast as you can without thinking, okay? So just have fun, enjoy. Basically, this is retribution for everybody we've ever put through silly little competitions as part of our team building. All right? Here we go.
Oh, boy.
What is your name?
David.
How many children do you have?
3.
Which one's your favorite?
All of them.
One of these days, I'm going to get somebody to give me a correct answer to that. What's your favorite book?
Oh, God. My favorite book is probably something by Seth Godin. He's a marketing guru, and he's gotten me through a lot of marketing emergencies.
What's your favorite children's book?
What was the one? It's I'll love you forever. I'll love you for always. For as long as I'm living. I can't think of the name of it.
That's
it. To the moon and back.
Nice.
Midnight Moon. That was it.
There it is. If you could have somebody play you in the movie of your life, who would it be?
I've always said, people's always said I've looked like Gene Wilder. So I guess if he was back, I'd go for Gene Wilder.
That is awesome. And that's it. We're out of time. Sorry about that, David. But you did great. You got 6 answers, all done, and all of them pretty correct.
Can we do it again?
No. Well, you can do it again the next time you come back on my show.
You got it.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please give a huge round of applause to my dear friend and the man who signs my paychecks, Mr. David Goldstein. And that's it, my friends. Once again, thank you all for listening to Team Building Around the World. If you like this show, please share it with a friend or a colleague, and we'd be grateful if you would subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and leave a favorable review. So, once more, from me, Rich Riddensland, remember, if you're in the sound of my voice, you're on my team now, and I'm on yours. You take care of yourselves, folks, and we'll see you again real soon.
It's been said that you learn more about a person in an hour of play than in a year of conversation. So why not put your coworkers to play with the help of the team at Team Bonding? Team Bonding was founded over 20 years ago with one simple question. How can employees have a great time while fostering strong, authentic bonds between people who work together? Their catalog of innovative events includes scavenger hunts, Jeopardy, and much more. Each activity, whether live, virtual, or hybrid, maximizes the impact of team building with an accent on fun. Visit TeamBonding.com to schedule your event now. Team Bonding, when you want seriously fun results.